Hi, I'm CJ and this is my RC channel. This is just a great day. It's been like Christmas for the last 2 hours. I've gotten one delivery after another, 2 of them from China on the same day, which is amazing, and one from a hobby store that I source from. 3 cars, 2 all-wheel drive buggies, 1/10 scale, 1 inexpensive car, $150 WL Toys, the new 104001, the associated RC10 74D all-wheel drive buggy, and this ZD Racing DBX 10 rocket. It is a desert racer. It is a 1/10 scale. It comes with brushless motor and ESC and radio, and it looks like it's going to be a blast. I cannot wait to run this. It's got big tires, should have lots of grip. Hopefully they're nice and soft. And with that power pack it's got going, also what is on the front is the version with the tire on the rear. I'm not a big fan. I went with the Desert Racer that comes with the wing. It's probably the orange color. I'm not sure what color they gave me. I think I ordered orange or red. In any event, I'll find out when I open the box. This is another item that I pre-ordered. This is a new kit. If you can spend more than these WL toy cars that are in the $100, $150 range, this is a nice next step up. It's not a racer, but it's definitely going to be a fun basher. And at $250, that's still a really nice price point. I think it was a little under that. I'll let you know exactly later what I got it for. But again, just a nice looking kit. It's got aluminum shock towers, all metal shocks. It's got aluminum chassis. They make a less expensive version that has a brushed motor. And I saw someone mentioning that, you know, that's a good way to go because it, you know, you can hop it up from there. But the problem is the less expensive version has a plastic pan chassis. This has an aluminum pan chassis. That's a huge difference right there as far as strength, longevity. I would definitely go with the brushless. Even if I was going to pull the motor, throw it over my shoulder and put something else in of my own choice, I would still want to go with the higher end model because they're selling it with a brushless. They're going to put higher end parts in it. Things like drive shafts, differentials may be of a higher grade, a higher quality than what they're putting in that less expensive model, which is also why it's less expensive. It's not just the brushless motor that's the difference. Brushless motors can be really cheap. So in any event, let's open this up, see what it's got going, and tomorrow I'm going to take it to the bump track and thrash it. So let's see. Okay, we got directions, we got some extra links. Looks like we got some extra wheel nuts, or maybe the wheel nuts. Bags of tires, nice and squishy. Rear wing. Charger, another charger. Wow, this looks cool. And yet another radio. Joy. Wow, this is sweet. Really high detail. I mean, look at all the little knickknacks they've got in here. Even these fake vents for the shock absorbers, but those are nice beefy shock absorbers. And we've got multiple mounting locations. We've got turnbuckles. We've got rear sway bar. We've got dog bones front and rear. Probably going to want to adjust the height on that, take a little bit of the angle out of here. If you have too much angle on the dog bone, as the axle swings around, if there's too much, it can catch. And then it basically breaks the dog bone or kicks the dog bone out, and you got problems. Beefy suspension. I mean, the steering knuckle, double-sided, very solid. We've got, interesting. Never seen spacers quite like that. Cool. We've got front sway bar as well. And, yeah, multiple shock locations, high and low. Nice anodized aluminum. Take a look at that shock tower in there. And hex head bolts all around. No Phillips head garbage. Kudos to ZD Racing. Even down here, all hex. That's going to make working on this much more pleasurable. Look at that. That's just a beautiful piece of machining there. They've lightened it, cut away extra material, made that as minimalist as possible. We've got 2 locations for our camber link, 2 inner-outer locations as well. Very nice. Very nice. We have a nice little light bar. I can see a power switch in there. Interesting to see where we're going to put that. Does this pop up? Yes, it does. Oh, heck yeah. Look at that big, beefy, hard pack battery. And it even has, yeah, there's our balance cord, Dean's connector, 3300 milliamp. Nice. Very nice. And we don't have that combo garbage. Great. Oh, that is so special. See, because it's a standalone brushless ESC, it comes with a standalone receiver. I can unplug these wires. I can put in one of my receivers, start using my radio right away. No hassles. No 5-wire servo. Nice standard size servo. If the servo gives me problems, I pull it, I put in another standard servo. This is so worth the extra money. It is so worth it. I mean, just look at these nice orange anodized posts here. Oh, they're missing a screw. Oops. Someone screwed up. You know, and this could be like, I could take this body off, just remove these screws here, pull this whole mount, get rid of the light, and I've got a nice flat pan all-wheel drive 1/10 scale chassis. I could do anything with this. I could turn it into a buggy. I could run it as a short course truck. I could do all kinds of stuff with this. That's just excellent. You know, get rid of these little faux items here, you know, toss them, and just shed weight all over this thing. Or keep it as a buggy, you know, as a desert buggy. It doesn't matter. But, and it's got a slipper clutch. See, now these are the things that little bit of extra money gets you. I mean, it's only $100 more than, you know, the kit, like that, the 104001. But the difference in what you're getting for that money is just leaps and bounds ahead. I mean, this is, you know, steps away from being a real high quality kit. This could be raced in a variety of classes. Ditch the body, rig up a body post setup, and you know, either all-wheel drive buggy or short course truck. No problem. I am so impressed. This is my new best kit for the money recommendation. If you're new to the hobby, you're trying to get started, you're not sure what you want to do, you're on a really limited budget, $250, you get a real battery pack, you get a real motor. It may not be censored, but it's still a brushless power source. You've got a all-wheel drive setup with real differentials. You've got an actual slipper clutch. You've got full working suspension, sway bars front and rear, nothing left out. And you can ditch the heavy body for a nice body and rock and roll. I'm baffled. I'm blown away. I'm just really jazzed. If I was just getting started and this rolled up at my house and, you know, the postman, I would hug that postman. I mean, it's like, this thing is sweet. And it reeks of potential. There's so much that could be done with this as far as anything. I mean, I could race this in an on-road class by putting on really stiff springs, stiffening up the sway bars, lower the ride height, and run it in that class that I race that off-road slash in, that I've totally modified to be a road car. We don't have droop screws, but again, that can be dealt with by the by shock limiters and such. Wow. Blown away. Well, let's continue getting into it. Let me pop the battery pack back in. Well, I'll just leave that out right now. I don't need the weight while I'm working on it. Let me just set that aside. Oh yeah, these are nice and soft. These are going to provide a lot of grip. This should be a lot more fun to drive in the dirt. I'll bet it's going to get a lot more purchase and be a lot more controllable than what I was running the other day. I'm really psyched seeing the standalone receiver. I may have noticed that when I was ordering the truck, but had obviously forgotten, because that is just huge. That's going to make such a difference. I got some two-sided tape. Okay, let's have a peek in the instructions before we start putting things together. That one missing screw, I'm not holding that against them. That kind of thing happens with mass production. It's just not a big deal. I've got screws, I'll put another screw in. If you had just bought this vehicle, you could take off one of the body screws if you had to just fill in for the time being. That's an example of why you should always check over your vehicles, though. When you get a new, ready-to-run vehicle, you should really start by taking it apart. The urge to go out and run it right then and there is very strong, but it could bite you in the that could have caused a problem. It could have caused something to break, something larger that would have cost more to replace if the parts were even available. this is such a new vehicle, they may not have stocked up on spares yet. So, basic radio stuff. Let's see. Power switch. Power switch, auxiliary, battery carrier. Okay. Nothing fancy with the radio. No proportional control or anything like that, which are things that I think are extremely important, especially if you want to race. Let's see, general replacement parts. Yeah, see, here's all the lower end hardware or electronics that can be included in this kit. There's two brushless motors, a 540 and a 550, depending on the model you buy. There's a 3550, 3300 kV brushless, and a 3665, 2300 kV brushless. That's what's in this kit here. So it's not high kV, but it's a really big can. It's the biggest motor physically out of the batch. It's got the undoubtedly has the 80 amp brushless ESC, which is nice. I mean, if I wanted to like upgrade this car for whatever reason, that hardware that I'm pulling out, I could use in something else, like a 1/10 scale road car or something. I mean, it's good hardware. I'll have to see if there is a programming box available for these brushless ESCs, so things like drag brake and stuff can be adjusted. Our differential cases appear to have O-rings and gaskets. So again, we've got a quality, it may not be the highest quality, but it is a complete differential. The WL toy cars, the lower end ones, you know, until they brought out this new 1/10 scale car, all of their 112 cars, their differentials do not have any seals. So almost anything you try to put in them as far as grease will sooner or later leak out. Now, they give us this front upper rod set. I guess they just throw it in. It's made to put in place of the turnbuckles. Why anyone would ever remove an adjustable turnbuckle and replace it with a fixed plastic rod end, I have no idea. I would never do it. These are for different servos. So if they actually give you pieces if you wanted to replace the servo. You've got adapters for different tooth count for servos, for the outdrive on the servos. I would almost guarantee I've got springs for this. And another thing that a lot of the lower end cars don't give you is that I'm betting, yes, okay. Look in here, you see that this motor mount is slotted. That means we can adjust the position of the motor in relationship to the gear here and the slipper, which means our pinion gear can be changed. If we want low speed and higher power, we can change that gear. If we want high speed, we can change that gear and make this thing really crank, because there's a good bit of room. We could move that thing over and put a massive gear in this one's place. Now, when you do stuff like that, you really have to be careful that you're not going to burn up your ESC. You need to make sure it can handle that power. You need to monitor your motor temperature, things like that as you develop and change things around to make sure that you don't just torch it and ruin it. But, you know, then again, you can always just replace. It's nice, got a little dust boot on the switch. they route the electronics nicely. You know, everything is the way you would want it to be. If you need to take the body off because you're doing a bunch of work, they give you a plug here. They don't just run a solid wire and you've got to, like, you know, deal with the thing hanging around on you, or unplug it at the source and trim all the cable ties. And they cable tied everything very nicely. I mean, this is a thought out kit. It's even cable tied up here. I mean, you know, to keep the wire out of the way, they left enough flex here in the cable, like strain relief, so that when the bumper gets collapsed and stuff, you're not pulling on the wire. You got two little LEDs up here in the nose in the front bumper. That's nice too. See these plastic pieces? I was kind of looking at those, and they go with these plastic pieces here. The body clips in, so it's attached to the chassis. It's not flapping around. I mean, this is very well thought out and very well designed. I gotta hand it. I mean, I like ZD products. I have a little Porsche 911 I bought from them quite a while ago, and I take that out from time to time just when I want to get a little bit of stick time. You know, go across the street to the tennis court and you know, zoom it around and just have some fun, you know, and get some driving time. This is really, really nice. I know that's an M3. I'm gonna go ahead, and every time I look at that, it bothers me a little bit. I seriously, I am not gonna hold that against them. I just recommend that any kit that you buy, that you go over it with a fine-tooth comb before you drive it. You know, you make sure everything is in place. Let me pull the one across from it and see what size they're using as far as the length. I love that they went hex head all around. I mean, that's just quality. You know, they really did. Hey, I pulled the right size right out of the gate. I've actually got some nice brushless off-road motors that I could throw in here too. Like this right here. 3660, 4300 kV. Let me just check the numbers on there. Again, I know the kV was low, but I think we were talking about the same size. Yeah, 3665 versus a 3660. No big deal. And higher kV motor by 2000 kV. This is a Hobbywing, makes some really nice motors. This would do really well in here. Maybe even upgrade the ESC. We'll see. No hurry. So let's just finish going over this. And they give us a full exploded diagram. Excellent. Just wanted to see our bearings. Looks like there's a spacer or a shim here. Washer. Yep. And we've got full bearings. So I'm curious. I wonder if these axle stubs will handle standard off-the-shelf hexes, because I have lots. Okay, I would need to use a different pin, but the size is correct. It's not always. So we'll just go with the plastic for right now. Just want to kind of test the car out in an as-is mode. As you can see, I'm having a hard time resisting the urge to change things. Modify it. See, I was wondering why they were giving us such a big spacer. It's because there's not a lot of standoff on these wheels. And these are actually a beadlock. These tires are not glued. They are screwed. Might want to glue them anyway down the road, but that means these tires can be taken off. Take out 12 screws, pull off the rings, pull the tires off. You could change the foams, all kinds of stuff. I will probably punch some vent holes in the sidewalls of these tires because they're very balloony right now. In fact, I might as well do that right now. And just pop that screw on for a second, the nut, so I don't misplace it while I'm doing this other stuff here. Let me pause. I need to get my leather punch tool, and here we go. This is also an excellent time to use the power driver. And get this done quick. So, I'm going to just do one real quick for demo. And now the screws are a coarse thread. Hopefully it's not like that in other places. I could see why they might do that here. Just to help make them, you know, like self-tapping screws, but just be careful when you put these back in. Don't use a power driver to put them in. Even with the clutch down, you don't want to risk stripping these because you won't be able to fix that. Let me just confirm. Yep, there we go. And you know what? I don't even need to do the whole tire. I'm going to do one just so I can see what kind of foam they put in there and stuff like that. But all I really need to do is take the rear ones off and punch a hole at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock through the sidewall, and then put the ring back on. So this will go very quick, and I highly recommend you do this, even if you're going to be running through water and stuff like that. Taking the bounce out of these tires by letting air go in and out will make a big difference in the way this performs, in the amount of grip these tires give. Because if they want to stay full, you want it to have as much, you know, air down as you can, as it were. If any of you have actually done off-road driving before in you know, real vehicles, you know that airing down your tires, a low air pressure, like, you know, under 12 psi, sometimes under 10 psi, is a huge benefit to the amount of traction that you get. So anyway, these look like just a standard foam. Let's go ahead and pull it anyway. Look. That's weird. It's got a seam. Yeah, I don't like that. That's cheap. That's the only thing I've seen so far where I'm like, meh. I'm gonna replace these real fast. I think I've actually got some. I was using them for another kit, but I'm not gonna be doing that anytime soon, so let's see. And these are really nice foams. These are by Crazy Crawler. I'll just order another set. The sawtoothing on them makes them collapse a little better. This is a problem. It's not completely round. You've got a different amount of strength here. It's smaller here. You could end up with a wheel with a bit of a oscillation to it. Toss those. these are cheap. You can get foam inserts for them probably for under $15 that are a single piece, not a piece of foam that someone has stuck together and glued. That's the only thing I've seen that is cheap. Everything else on this kit seems to be above average. It may not be high-end quality like Losi or Team Associated, but it's not a $600 car either. It's a complete ready to run, and it's under $300, so, you know, what do you want? I mean, personally, I want a Ferrari and a toilet made of solid gold, but it's just not in the cards. So let's go ahead and, is there a left or a right? And there's no text or anything. Let's see, probably want the tread going in this direction, not that direction. So let me punch the holes. Probably want to go, wow, this thing is ancient. Yeah, probably want to go with a decent size. I want to make sure these things deflate easy on impacts and stuff like that. I'm doing them right up next to the tread, so they're not as visible. That's not really a factor, but I definitely want these things to air down. Tell you what, those aren't even that big. I'm gonna put the wheel together. I'm gonna see how it feels, and I may take the back piece off again and do 2 more holes at 3 and 9. We'll see. Let's try it like this first. That's interesting. I wonder what these are for. There are no vents in the rim, so in fact that's almost not a bad idea either. Sorry, I'm just trying to shine a light in there. No, there isn't. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Okay, hang on. I think a 2.5 millimeter might be the way to go. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a 2.5 millimeter, fits right in that hole. I'm just going to punch through there, and I'm going to punch through across from it and make 2 holes down there. And so that way we've definitely got enough access for air to get out of the tire and then get pulled back in again. Is that off angle? Yep. Okay, so holes here, that's the back side, that's the back side. Let's make sure that that gets all the way over. Want that foam insert to be right in the center, nothing bunched up or anything. Okay, there's our front, that's our rear. Let's get that lined up right. So be careful when you thread these back on. Go real easy, 2-finger method. I've talked about that in numerous videos, but if you're new to my channel, when you're working with plastics, especially if it's not like a professional grade that's using a very hard plastic, something like a Stifsel that TLR uses, or some of the harder plastics that X-Ray uses, for example. There's plastic and there's plastic, and the rim seems to be pretty hard plastic, so you're not going to easily strip it, but you could strip it. So As you start getting close to tight, just use a couple fingers on the screwdriver. Just use your fingertips and just kind of feel it so that you don't go too far. This may seem like a lot of work for something that I just bought that's supposed to be ready to run, but these are the kind of little fine points of development and tuning that make the car yours and make it better than just a off-the-shelf ready to run. And it's worth that effort, because this will make for better performance. Better performance and better control makes for less crashes, makes less damage, makes less money spent, makes more fun, more runtime. All pays off. See, that's a completely different feel than this. I'm gonna try and do this for you if you can. We'll see if you can see it. I'm gonna try and do the same amount of weight, and you can just see that this one, the profile, there's more tread touching down. It's flatter. I'm doing my best to be equal here and not favor one or the other, and it's really obvious the difference. I'm not sure if it's gonna show on the camera as well, but trust me, that made a huge difference. So I definitely recommend that you do that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I've done it to one. I'm gonna be repeating the exact same process. 2 holes in the rim, 2 holes in the tire. It airs down really quick and right back to shape. So that's what I would go with. So I'm going to go ahead and do this for the other 3 tires. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video. You don't need to watch me do a repetitive process like that. Okay, I've finished all the tires and I've marked them to make sure that I've got everything facing the correct direction, the tread all going in the same direction. So RL is right, rear left, rear right, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and put on the tires. So there we go, nice ride height. I don't have the battery in the back at the moment. Go ahead and do the wing. Okay. Let me just put the battery in there for specking out the weight. Those sway bars really limit the side to side while still letting it have a lot of up and down. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please click like and please subscribe to my channel.